How different is Batman from comics to screen?
I don't know.
Bruce Wayne's Batman has appeared in thousands of DC comics, so there's a significant amount of lore surrounding this character. On the big screen, we've seen the character be played by Adam West, Michael Keaton, Val Kilmer, George Clooney, Christian Bale, Ben Affleck, Will Arnett, Keanu Reeves, and Robert Pattinson in many solo and team-up theatrically released movies. So let's find out how different the character is in the comics to his appearances in those films. Bruce Wayne, aka Batman, made his first appearance in 1939's Detective Comics number 27, written and illustrated by Bill Finger and Bob Kane. In the issue, Commissioner Gordon talks to Bruce Wayne about Batman, a Caped Crusader who's recently started roaming the streets. The Commissioner receives a call alerting him that a chemical manufacturer, Lambert, has been murdered, with his son the suspect of the crime due to fingerprints found on the knife. Bruce accompanies Gordon to the scene of the crime where Lambert's son insists he's innocent, but provides the name of 3 people who may be guilty. Alfred Stryker, Paul Rogers, and Steve Kane, all associates of Lambert. Bruce leaves as the Commissioner continues the investigation. Before Gordon can investigate Stephen Crane, he's shot and killed, with the murderer fleeing out the window with a piece of paper. However, upon leaving the house, the Batman stops him along with his partner before securing the stolen paper and fleeing the scene just as Gordon arrives. After learning of Lambert's death, Paul Rogers visits the laboratory of Alfred Stryker, but is attacked and tied up by Alfred's assistant, Jennings, intending on killing Rogers. But before he can, the Batman reappears, stopping Jennings and saving Paul. Alfred Stryker then appears, who pulls out a knife and intends on finishing the job his assistant couldn't. However, the Batman once again steps in, having to defend himself against a gun, so punches Stryker into a tank of acid. Before Rogers can thank the Batman, he's already fled the scene. It turns out Alfred's sinister motive was based on wanting to be the sole owner of the chemical manufacturer he, Lambert, Rogers, and Crane were all a part of. The next day, Commissioner Gordon catches Bruce Wayne up on the case, but Bruce already knows all this because he's secretly the Batman. But how did Bruce Wayne become the Batman? Well, as a young kid, while walking home in the streets of Gotham after watching a movie, a mugger tried to steal his mother, Martha's, pearl necklace, so his father Thomas stepped in to defend her. However, in the process was shot and killed along with Martha. Bruce swears to avenge his parents' death by spending the rest of his life warring on all criminals. His uncle Philip Wayne becomes Bruce's legal guardian, where he later went on to learn science at college to perfect his physical condition. He intended on becoming a police officer, but his girlfriend Julie Madison couldn't stand the idea of Bruce putting his life in danger. But Wayne still had a motive to fulfill, so decided to fight crime in secret, using his father's wealth to create a disguise. The disguise was not only to hide his identity, but strike fear into the eyes of the lawbreakers. Inspiration for the black bat-like suit came from a bat flying through his open window as he was trying to think of a costume design. He hired the finest costume makers in the business, bribing them to keep the design a secret. Once completed, Bruce went on patrol as the Batman, taking down his first thief named Slugsy Kyle, who was trying to rob a warehouse. However, it wasn't an easy battle, having to escape being tied up to defeat the crook. Because taking out just a simple thief was difficult, Bruce contemplated immediately hanging up the cape. This then all leads back to Batman's first appearance, where he meets up with his uncle's friend Commissioner Gordon with the intention of asking if he'll recommend a desk job with the police department before learning about the Lambert crime, taking care of business and deciding to remain as the Batman. However, the DC mainstream universe has been rebooted several times. While Batman's origin remains similar in each, the slight differences in those include learning everything he could about police procedures before donning a costume the same color as traffic lights, saving a police detective who then helped train Bruce in hand-to-hand combat and gymnastics, plus give him the name Robin. In one iteration, a young Bruce fell down a well into a cavern beneath Wayne Manor, which attracted the attention of bats, creatures he would go on to fear. This cavern would later become the Bat Cave, where he'd work out of as Batman. After his parents' death, he was raised by the butler of Wayne Manor, Alfred Pennyworth, who Bruce has a loyal relationship with, being one of the few to know his Batman secret. After years of traveling around the world, learning different types of martial arts and getting his body into peak condition, he realized the only thing holding him back was his fear of bats, so ultimately decided to use this as his symbol for fighting crime. By day, Bruce is CEO of his father's business, Wayne Enterprise, and by night, he's the Batman fighting crime in the city of Gotham. These comics are very similar as to what we've seen being portrayed on screen many times, particularly the death of Bruce Wayne's parents. The minor differences include Jack Napier, who later became the Joker, being his parents' killer in the 1989 Batman movie, as opposed to Joe Chill in the books. Batman Begins is heavily inspired by the main comic universe origin that ran from 1989 to 2011, which included falling into a cave of bats, leading to his fear towards the animal. He also trained under Ra's al Ghul in one iteration, like in that movie. Lucius Fox, who has a similar relationship to Bruce on page and screen, has acted as his armourer to Wayne, supplying some of the gadgets and suits used. However, in the comics, the Batsuit first came from the very best costume makers, although most of the Batman tech is developed by Bruce Wayne or Alfred in the comics. As far as Bruce Wayne and Batman's origin goes, you can see there's a lot of similarities to the origins across all the different Batman comics and movies. Like most great characters, Bruce Wayne has a complex personality. Due to the loss of his parents at a young age, Bruce and Batman are dark and brooding. Maybe less so these two. Their death was the driving force for being the Batman, whereas the movies, particularly the Dark Knight trilogy, focuses on being more than that, shifting the motive to save the city of Gotham from corruption. Batman earned the title of world's greatest detective from all the research and training he did over the years, something that is probably demonstrated best in the 2022 Batman movie. He has a strict moral code against killing, despite temptations. Having said this, Batman has killed in both the comics and movies, but only in extreme situations. Well, maybe less so for this version. He's also very secretive about his dual identity. While characters like Alfred, the different Robins, and various members of the Justice League know that Bruce Wayne is Batman, it is very rare that other characters would find out. However, the Riddler is one of those characters who's deduced his secret, like he does in Batman Forever.
I can't tell you if you don't say please.
As Bruce Wayne, he's charming, a genius, billionaire, playboy, philanthropist, running Wayne Enterprises to divert suspicions away from his nightly activities. He rarely drinks alcohol, once stating that he discourages alcohol use. Instead, he fools people by drinking ginger ale or apple juice. We've seen a whole bunch of different versions of Bruce Wayne and Batman's personality shown on screen, from lighter and more campy, to cold and brutal, realistic and determined, and just straight up ruthless. But you can see how a lot of these are inspired by the characteristics shown in the comics.
I'm Batman.
Now, what's Bruce Wayne's connection to other characters? When it comes to romantic relationships, the most notable person in Bruce's life is Selina Kyle, aka Catwoman, who he's been married to on both page and screen. Maybe. Well, it's at least implied that he married her in The Dark Knight Rises. In Batman Begins and The Dark Knight, Bruce has a close friendship and crush on Rachel Dawes. However, this was an original character created for the movies. Bruce has also been romantic with Wonder Woman and Talia al Ghul. He and Talia even have a kid together named Damian Wayne, who went on to fight alongside his father as the 5th iteration of Robin. 3 of the previous 4 Robins are also sons of Bruce, in an adoptive sense, those being Dick Grayson, Jason Todd, and Tim Drake. As an orphan himself, Bruce Wayne has a deeper empathy to those who have also lost their parents. He didn't adopt them to be his sidekicks, but after learning his identity, Dick Grayson insisted on being trained, which eventually led to him becoming the first Robin. The 4th Robin was Stephanie Brown, who Batman also agreed to train after she discovered that her then boyfriend, Tim Drake, wore the red, green, and yellow suit. The reason why Bruce often has a Robin is because it gives him a connection to other people, providing a light to ensure that he doesn't lose himself to the dark and brooding nature of being Batman. But Robin isn't the only sidekick that brings light to the Cape Crusader. He's also had different variations of Batwoman, Batgirl, and Bat-Animals. Though there have been a number of members a part of the Batman family in the comics, on screen we've seen the Dick Grayson version of Robin, plus hints towards other variations, Barbara's Batgirl, and Ace the Bat-Hound. The Batman family isn't the only team the Dark Knight fights on. His most notable group is the Justice League, a team which he was a founding member of. Another member of that group is Superman, who the pair have not only fought in both the comics and movies, but also consider each other best friends. Batman even believes that Superman is a better person than him. Those who Bruce doesn't think are better people than him are his villains. The crooks Batman has fought in both the comics and movies include the Penguin, Mr. Freeze, Poison Ivy, Two-Face, the Riddler, Bane, Scarecrow, Ra's al Ghul, and the Joker once or twice. The Joker is Batman's arch nemesis in both the comics and movies, with a mutual obsession towards each other for different reasons. Their relationship has even delved into the idea that they need each other because they keep them doing what they do and being who they are. Batman has also come up against Shrek. Not that Shrek, but he's an original character created for the movie. Other notable members of Batman's Rogues Gallery that haven't yet been brought to the big screen are Clayface, Hugo Strange, and Man-Bat. As a member of the Justice League, he's only fought Steppenwolf, Doomsday, and had a conversation with Lex Luthor.
You should not pick a fight with this person.
Physically speaking, Bruce Wayne is typically chiseled with a square jawline, high cheekbones, and a strong defined face. Bruce has even been named People magazine's Sexiest Man Alive 2 years in a row, just beating out me. As a well-respected business person, often presents himself with a well-groomed look and nice suits. As in these suits. Like most comic book characters, Bruce Wayne has worn a variety of different Batman suits to hide his identity for specific missions, but it is almost always black or very, very dark grey with a bat symbol on the chest. These suits, which cover his whole body other than his mouth, are often resistant to different types of attacks like bullets, explosions, physical attacks, and falls. Under the mask, Batman, often, particularly in more recent times, has some kind of computer system that provides X-ray, night, and sonar vision. Being nicknamed the Cape Crusader is in reference to the fact that Batman wears a cape that is super lightweight and gives him the ability to glide. Most of the Batman iterations wear relatively similar suits to each other and are comic accurate to his iconic look. But we've also seen the armored suit from Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice, which is inspired by Frank Miller's The Dark Knight Returns. The Nightmare suit from the same film was later added to the comics a year after the release of the movie. Over his suit, Batman wears an iconic yellow utility belt that is often equipped with items such as grenades, grappling gun, a variety of batarangs, and basically anything he needs for specific missions. He's also been known to carry lollipops to help distract children during emergency scenarios. Other notable accessories in Batman's arsenal include the Bat Computer and Bat Card. However, the latter is something that's only seen in Batman and Robin.
Never leave the cave without it.
As far as gadgets and accessories go, we've seen most of them on screen in some capacity, particularly the Lego Batman movie that speedruns through a lot of them.
First try.
Some of his most notable vehicles include the Batboat, Batcycle, Batplane, Batcopter, and of course, the Batmobile.
Does it come in black?
Even without a suit, tech, or vehicle, Bruce Wayne has mastered every known martial art, is skillful in acrobatics, interrogation, intimidation, has genius-level intelligence, is mentally determined to achieve his goals, and physically peaks in strength, reflexes, speed, and stamina to the ability of a non-superpowered being. Batman has an iconic symbol, particularly when shone in the sky by Commissioner Gordon as a way to contact the Dark Knight. Jim has a similar relationship with Batman in the comics as he does in the movies, allowing him to operate freely in Gotham after proving himself to be the world's greatest detective, solving and stopping crime. Like most characters in the DC universe, there are a multitude of variants and different people who wear the suit and take on the name Batman in the comics. For example, Dick Grayson, Terry McGinnis, and even his butler, Alfred.
Rip! Alfred, what are you doing?
I miss the 60s.
As for comic to movie adaptations of stories that Bruce Wayne's Batman has been a part of, I've already spoken about his origin, but how different are some of the other story arcs? Any movie involving the Joker probably took inspiration from The Killing Joke. The Dark Knight Returns is about the Dark Knight returning to the mantle, like seen in The Dark Knight Rises and Batman v Superman. Nightfall sees Bane break Batman's back, like in The Dark Knight Rises, and the Batman is inspired by Year Zero and Year One as a less experienced masked manhunter. Some other notable comic arcs Bruce has been a part of include, but not limited to, Crisis on Infinite Earths, about a multiverse catastrophe that rebooted the universe, Flashpoint, where the Flash goes back to save his mother, that ends up starting a new DC continuity, DC Rebirth, a soft reboot restoring a lot of the pre-Flashpoint continuity and tone, and every other comic event that rebooted the DC universe. Basically, if there was a major event in the comics, you better believe Bruce Wayne was a part of it. And I've only spoken about the mainline DC comic universe and some of the movies. There are many other comics, animated features, and shows that explore this character further. Bruce Wayne's Batman is one of DC's most iconic and beloved characters. Even though we've seen the character put to screen many times, he's had significantly more stories told in the comics. Despite this, the movie and different acting portrayals of the character have captured the essence of Batman and Bruce Wayne in at least one iteration. We've all got our favourite performance. Which one's yours? Hey, you want to hear some fun facts about Batman?
Definitely.
Here are some fun facts about Batman. After getting his body into peak physical condition, Bruce was able to lift up to 700 pounds, which is over 300 kilos. Batman is rarely known to express fear. However, Superman claims that the only time he's ever seen this emotion on him was during the Crisis on Infinite Earths. He's a fan of the Buck Rogers comic strip, and he's a massive fan of movies with his own Letterboxd account. Bruce once met George Clooney and claims that he owes him a favour. I wonder if that favour has anything to do with the actor playing him in a movie. And finally, he visits his parents' grave once a week, he collects ancient coins, and his blood type is O negative. Thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments what your favourite Batman movie or comic arc is. And don't forget to absolutely obliterate that like, subscribe and share button. I'm just kidding. Only do it with enough force that it registers. I don't want any of you breaking whatever device you're watching this on.